fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo silver, the Lone Ranger. With his faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early western United States. Nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver. Let's go, big fella. I'll Silver. Aye!
Get the express box.
When outlaws, for the fifth time in a month, attacked a stagecoach south of Rock City, they killed guards and driver, and as usual, escaped with a large shipment of money.
You got all the money? All right, get up there. Come on, get up there.
Julian Watson, president of the Watson Stagecoach Company, made up the losses to the shippers. He also settled money on the families of the men who'd been killed. When he finally went to Rock City, the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. Seated with Rock City office manager Emmett Canby and Canby's assistant Dan Snelling, Watson explained,
You've already been notified of the money shipment on that stagecoach to Dallas that's due to stop here tomorrow.
Yes, sir, we have. There's $30,000 in it, isn't there?
More than that, Snelling. Canby, tell everyone in your outfit the shipment's been canceled. We want them to believe it.
I don't understand.
You don't? Canby, it isn't coincidence that the outlaws have been holding up only shipments that carry cash. I believe someone in your organization here is tipping off the gang about shipments.
Mr. Watson, I hired everyone in this office. I trust them all.
If one of them is an informer, he'll notify his outlaw pals the shipment's not going through. That may stop any hold-up plans they've made.
Do you think they'll lay off our coaches if they believe there's no cash on them?
I hope they will.
But suppose they don't.
We've prepared for that eventuality.
Oh, how?
There'll be 3 passengers aboard the stagecoach when it reaches here. But they're not regular passengers. They're 3 guards in our employ. And they rate with the best shots in the West.
This sounds interesting.
They'll be heavily armed. And they, together with the regular shotgun guard and driver of the coach, will give any crooks a surprise of their lives.
You can bet on that. I hope there's no attack, but if there is, I'd sure like to be there to see it.
If there is an attack, Canby, you'll see it. So will I. And so will Snelling.
Me, Mr. Watson?
Yes, Snelling. We all want to see the shipment get through to Dallas safely.
Yes.
That's why when the stagecoach leaves here tomorrow, We'll share the responsibility and danger with the men who guard the shipment. We'll be on the stagecoach with them.
Late that night, Dan Snelling went to a house on the outskirts of Rock City. There he met with Frank Leonard, known as a businessman, but in reality head of the outlaw band that had been robbing the Watson stagecoaches. Snelling, who'd given Leonard information for the promise of a huge future payment, told of Julian Watson's plan. He ended saying,
So, boss, you'd better warn Jack and the rest of the gang not to hold up the Dallas coach. Too many of them would end up dead.
Yes, I think you're right, Snelling. Thanks for the information. Run along now.
Right.
I'll ride to the hideout early tomorrow and tell Jack Rowley what you told me. So, Jack, I came here this morning as I promised Snelling. You know the story now.
Yeah. Too bad we have to call off the job, though.
Who said we would? We're going through with the holdup, with only one change in the plans we made last week.
And what's that?
We'll wreck the coach at a spot where the gang's waiting in ambush. Those who aren't killed in the wreck we'll shoot, because even sure shots like those on the coach will be too banged up to defend themselves.
How we wreck it?
By digging.
Digging? What are you talking about?
Have the boys get some picks and shovels, and we'll ride out to Elbow Bend. That's where we'll have them dig.
The Lone Ranger and Tonto were returning from a journey into Texas. They were in the wild hills southwest of Rock City when that afternoon they saw a sight that caused them to stop and peer through their binoculars. A few hundred feet below, partly obscured by trees, a number of horses could be seen, most of them riderless. At the base of the slope on the main trail, at a point where it turned at almost a right angle, men were toiling with pick and shovel. After studying the scene, the Lone Ranger lowered his glasses.
Tonto, those men aren't laborers.
No, Kimasabi. Them dressed like cowboys.
I wonder why they're digging a ditch across the main trail.
And me wonder. It's bad place to dig.
Anyone riding around that turn would almost certainly fall into it, and then Tonto.
Kimasabi.
Could be. That's the reason they're digging it.
So somebody fall in?
Yes. I think we better go down there and find out what they're up to.
We ask men who stay in bushes on horses. Them look like bosses.
Well, that may be. But to be on the safe side, it'll be better if we can get close to them without being seen. Listen to what they're saying. Come on, Silver.
Get them up, Scout.
Easy.
Oh, fella.
We'll dismount here, Tonto. Steady, big fella.
Easy, Scout. Easy, fella.
All right. Let's go, Tonto. All right, Tonto, we can hear them now. But we'll crawl to where their voices will be more distinct. Come on.
Astride their horses, Frank Leonard and Jack Rowley watched the members of their outlaw gang digging on the nearby road.
Jack, that ditch is almost deep enough.
Yeah, it's so big the stagecoach will disappear into it when it comes around the bend.
It'll be the horses that go into the ditch, Jack. The coach will pile up, then turn over.
Not hard enough to kill the hombres inside.
But hard enough to hurt them, so they'll be unable to fight back when we ride in on them.
Boss, isn't it almost time for Whitey to be coming back from his lookout post?
No, it'll be more than half an hour before the stagecoach reaches here.
Time sure goes slow when you're waiting.
Jack, $30,000 is worth waiting for. I've been waiting almost a year to bankrupt Julian Watson's company so I can get the stagecoach franchise.
Yeah, with the money you stole from him.
Just from his coaches, Jack, not from him directly. What are you frowning about?
Boss, I've been thinking about Snelling. You know he'll be in the coach with Watson and the rest of those hombres.
What if he is? He doesn't suspect we didn't take his advice. He has no idea we're going to hold up the coach. If you think he'll give us away, forget about it.
No, it's not that, boss. What I thought was, well, he's liable to get killed with all the others.
Jack, make sure you do kill him. We'll split his share of the loot between us.
Those two are as cold-blooded as any killers we've ever come across.
And plan kill everybody on coach.
Yes, including Julian Watson and their Confederate Snelling, whoever he is.
We know Julian Watson. Long time, Kimasabi. Him fine man.
One of the best, Tonto. All right, let's get away from here quickly. We must stop that stagecoach before it reaches a bend in the road. Easy, steady, big fella.
Easy, fella.
Tonto, we'll continue through the underbrush till we're sure we're out of sight. Then we'll ride down to the road. Come on, Silver.
Get him up, Scout. Oh, fella. What matter, Kimasabi? What you see?
Don't ride onto the road yet. See, straight ahead, on top of the mesa.
Oh, man stand near horse, behind rock.
That must be the lookout they spoke about.
Him named Whitey.
He hasn't sighted the stagecoach yet. If he had, he'd have left there.
Kimasabi.
Yes?
Path that lead to top of mesa. Right over there.
Let's use it, Tonto. If we act quickly, we'll make sure that Whitey doesn't get back to his pals to tell them anything. Easy now, Silver. Come on, boy.
Come
on.
Come, fella.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger adventure. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue. Whitey Moffat atop the mesa stood behind a shoulder-high boulder. He kept his gaze concentrated on the road, which from his vantage point could be seen for more than 2 miles as it zigzagged from the east. He failed to hear the men dismount some distance behind him, nor was he aware of their approach on foot until his horse suddenly whinnied in alarm.
Yeah, you crazy cayuse. What's the matter with you? A masked man. Do not use gun. Oh, me break on if you try.
Hold him, Tonto. I have his gun now. Let him go. Stand back, Whitey, and raise your hand.
Raise him, Tonto. I'm trying to. Let's see. Almost busted my elbow.
Stand still.
Hey, who are you hombres?
Friends of someone on the stagecoach you're looking for.
Huh? Why did you do this to me?
Because we want you to stay right where you are. Just as we want the boss, Jack, and the rest of the gang to stay where they are.
The boss and Jack? How do you know about... Wait, I don't get this. You're wearing a mask. Look here. Are you two with another gang?
Wait till Snelling learns about this.
Snelling? So that's it, is it? Is he pulling some kind of double cross?
Isn't that what he's been doing right along?
Huh?
It isn't too hard to figure. Otto, I'll keep this fellow covered. You tie him up.
No.
Whitey Moffat, in spite of protests and struggles, was bound hand and foot by Tonto, then gagged. As Tonto finished, the Lone Ranger, gazing over the boulder toward the east, saw the stagecoach loom into sight.
Otto, here comes the stagecoach. Let's get back to our horses and go down to meet it.
When the masked man and Indian reached the side of the road, the Lone Ranger spoke quickly to Tonto and concluded...
And if they see me wearing a mask, they might start to fire without asking questions first. So you ride by yourself, Tonto.
And when Coach stop, me talk to Mr. Watson, like you say.
Make sure no one else can hear what you say.
Then me bring him here, meet you.
I'll be waiting.
Me go now. Get him up, Scout.
When Tonto saw the stagecoach approaching 100 yards away, he stopped his horse and began to wave his arms frantically.
Stop!
The driver saw the Indian, and the shotgun guard kept his gun steady on Tonto as the vehicle lumbered to a stop a few yards from where Tonto waited.
Ho, ho! Ho there! Ho!
Tonto remained on his horse as driver and the guards swarmed from the coach and with guns drawn bore down on the Indian.
Keep those hands high, Indian.
What's this you're trying to do? Set a trap?
No, this not trap. Me stop coach because Mr. Watson, me got message for you.
Mr. Watson, do you know this Indian?
I certainly do, Canby. Men, put those guns away. This man is my friend. Well, Tonto, this is a surprise. Where's your friend?
Him wait, short distance from here. And him want to see you alone.
Alone? Have you any idea what it's about?
Their man named Snelling in coach.
Yes, but what about him?
Him crook. And Kemosabe want to tell you about him.
Snelling a crook? I can't believe it.
And you come with me. You get story.
Well, if what you say is a fact, Tonto, I'd like to have my manager, Emmett Canby, with me when I hear your friend's story.
You bring him, but not bring anybody else.
All right. Oh, Canby, come here, will you?
Julian Watson ordered the guards to remain with Snelling. Then, leaving the puzzled men to wonder, he left with Canby and Tonto. The Lone Ranger, after introductions to Canby, told his story. When he finished, Watson and Canby were livid with anger.
Why, it's incredible. If I didn't know you always spoke the truth, I'd find it hard to believe.
Well, don't take my word. While Tonto was gone, I thought of a plan that may reveal Snelling's guilt without any doubt in your minds.
Let's hear it.
The Lone Ranger outlined a plan involving Snelling and the outlaw Whitey Moffat. When he finished, both men agreed to go through with his recommendations. But Canby asked,
What about the outlaws you say are waiting in ambush at Elbow Bend?
Carrying out our scheme may delay a showdown with them, but not for long.
With marksmen like we have, the advantage will be on our side.
Yes, it certainly will. Now, Tonto, go back to the stagecoach and tell Snelling I want to see him here.
Tonto did as requested. Then he took Snelling to the foot of the trail that led to the top of the mesa.
Then wait on top of mesa for you. You go there.
All right.
Dan Snelling made his way up the narrow path, which led through heavy underbrush, then stepped out onto the flat ground at the top of the mesa.
What?
He gasped when he saw a man lying on the ground a few feet away, tied hands and feet and firmly gagged. Snelling removed the gag, and Whitey excitedly asked,
Snelling, did you have them do this to me?
Whitey, what are you doing here like that?
Don't play dumb, you double-crossing skunk. I was talking to your partners before. I want to know why you crossed the boss and Jack and sent the masked man after me.
You're talking like a madman. I never crossed the boss or Jack. When I told them to lay off the stagecoach last night, I was only telling them for their own good.
Oh, sure.
And who's this masked man you're talking about?
Me, Snelling.
Who? What? Mr. Watson? Canby?
Don't reach.
A trap, that's what it was?
I said don't reach.
Let me kill that dirty rattler. Snelling, you murderer!
Canby, stop that. Stop hitting him. Stop it.
Why have you done this to me?
Because you killed your own friends. You sent them into ambush like the one you set up for us today.
Ambush for you? I never did.
He may be speaking the truth, Canby. The boss told Jack that Snelling knew nothing of the robbery they planned today.
You mean they were going to hold up the coach?
Yes. And you, Snelling, were to be killed with everyone else on it.
Listen to me, please. Maybe I don't deserve to live, but I want to save my life, and I promise to tell you everything I know. Everything.
The outlaws at Elbow Bend sat astride their horses on the brush-covered slope that overlooked the ditch and the turn in the road. Jack Raleigh glanced at his watch for perhaps the 100th time and said to Frank Leonard,
Boss, something's gone wrong somewhere. You said the stagecoach was due to pass here almost an hour ago.
Will you stop being so fidgety? Whitey will warn us when it's
Hey, boss,
time.
listen. I hear noises around the bend.
I don't hear any stagecoach. Those are horses. Someone must
Hey,
be
look,
riding.
it's two riders. They see the ditch. They're stopping. Well, that's Whitey on this side.
And that's Dan Snelling with him. Let's ride down there and see what's up. Something's really going haywire. Come on.
Get up, get up.
The outlaws, surprised and puzzled by the unexpected appearance of Whitey and Snelling, came out on the road to learn what had happened.
Whitey, what's up? Why are you down here instead
I'll do the talking, Whitey.
Fools, what's happened?
Hello, boss. I thought you said you wouldn't try to take over the money shipment today.
Never mind what I said. What I want to know is
wait,
what's...
boss. Snelling, what happened to your mouth? It's all bloody.
You'll all get the same if you don't throw your guns into that ditch.
What?
What are you talking about?
Look up on the slope, boss, where you and the boys were just a few minutes
Hey,
ago.
boss, look. Men on horses with guns pointed down at us. Let them have it.
They're coming down. Shoot him. Shoot. Down my shoulder.
The outlaws' attempt at defense was short-lived.
Oh!
When the boss and then Jack Raleigh were hit, the outlaws became demoralized. Well-aimed bullets by the Lone Ranger, Tonto, and the sharpshooters on the slope sent the crooks falling to the ground. Then the crooks ceased fire as the boss called.
It's no use. Give up. Stop shooting. All right. We're throwing our guns into the ditch. See?
Boys, you have them all bandaged and tied up?
Every one of them can be.
Then we'll hold them here. The masked man's riding to Rock City with his Indian pal. They'll send a posse out here as soon as possible. I'll stay here and keep my eye on Snelling. He's my mate.
And I'll go on to Dallas with the money. You all look after these crooks. I don't think we'll be bothered by holdups anymore.
You're not going to lose your company either, Mr. Watson.
No, and I expect we'll recover most of the money that was stolen from us in the other holdups.
Yeah, the masked man sure made Whitey and Snelling talk.
Leonard? Yeah? Your plan to take over the stagecoach line ended in the ditch, just as your guns did. And just as you and your killers will when the judge sends you to the gallows.
Never mind all that talk.
And it's all happening because of one man. That masked fella who calls himself a Lone Ranger.
This is a feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated, created by George W. Trendle, produced by Trendle Campbell Muir Incorporated, directed by Charles D. Livingston, and edited by Fran Stryker. The part of the Lone Ranger is played by Brace Beamer.